So, very good morning and happy Shivratri as well. So, what are we doing today? So, welcome for the demo from ThinkMates for Tableau. And today we are doing the demo session and just few things about who we are and what we do. So, as you can see, these are two good people with the good intentions. So they have started ThinkMates. So with the aim of providing quality education and mainly with the focus of bridging the gap between the industrial needs and what people currently have. So that's a good intention, and both are very much experienced professionally, and this is outcome of their thinking. So this is a brief introduction about the founders, what they wanted to do, what they want to provide, and moving on. So what we learn today in this demo. So we are here to understand like what is the tool, what is Tableau. So you all registered for Tableau demo, but interestingly, so most of them, so they might have some idea on what is Tableau, but I'll go through you what is this tool, what all things you can do, and why we should learn this particular tool, and what are the opportunities we have, and what are the prerequisites we have, and how are the job opportunities, and how much salaries we can expect, and where we can go from here. So what all things you learn from this course. So these are the things which I'll be covering you in brief in this demo session. All right, so let's get started. And so I'll just go back to some notepad, so where we will type it as we speak it. So the first thing what we have to know is not about Tableau here. So it is all about the word, the data, and we have got multiple things which revolves around data. So these are some major areas where we hear most of the time. So what is a base for all of these is the data here. So once you have the data, then you can perform these many things and you can build your career, and that's where the future is. All right. That means we have to understand data better, then only we can choose where we are going. And now, coming back to data here. So what we define as the data here. So data is something like the information, what we get, what we collect from different sources, and we try to store it in one place. So that can be the folder, that can be in files, that can be in databases. And from there, we pick that data and we push it into some kind of tools where we can do some analysis. So before we get into that with an example, so what we'll try to do here is, so we have to first understand, so what are the different types of data available here? So what is the different types of data we get? Okay, so now let's figure out this here. So there are three types as we speak. So first one is very structured data. All right, let's see what is that. Then second, it is semi-structured data. Then the third is unstructured data. All right, so what are these things here? Structured, semi-structured, unstructured. Okay, so let's see with an example here. So let's try to understand some scenario. All right, so what we'll try to do here is, I want to start some business. Okay, so as an entrepreneur, so I want to start a business here. So let's say I have started Uber or I have started Swiggy. Then, so how does this business work? So in general points, how does the business work? So people install the app first, and then they try to register, and then they log in, and then they try to make any purchases. So this is how the flow starts. Now the users can operate from their mobile phones or from the laptops, from the desktops, or from anywhere. So that means, so who is giving you the data? So data comes from the users after they log in and after they make purchase or after they install. Right away, at every step, data is getting generated. And this data will be now sent to one database. Let's say because the files cannot handle bigger amount of data. So all that information which we want to collect, we will store in this particular database. Now from that database, we will start analyzing the things. Now, whenever you store any data into databases, then that is called as the structured data. So what is structured data? It's in very simple terms. We don't want the bookish knowledge. We'll keep that aside. So what is structured data according to us is data which is organized in the form of tables. That means you have rows, you have columns, then we call it as the structured way of storing the data. So some examples what we can give, of course, definitely all databases are all structured. And we can also say that Excel is also one very good structured way of storing the data. So now in simple terms, if we store data in Excel or in databases, we call that as structured data. Now, second, what is semi-structured data? So data every time doesn't come in a very good organized way. So it all becomes like semi-structured. So it's not clear, isn't it? So what is semi-structured? Again, with an example here. So two people want to communicate to each other. So how we can communicate? Maybe the medium here is the language. So I speak English, you understand English. Very good. Now, two computers have to communicate with each other. So two computers need to communicate with each other. So how do they talk? How do they know what is going on? So I have to send one information to another computer. So they doesn't know English. English is just for human beings. So the best way, two computers, or so I'll just put here. So it can be two softwares, or it can be two programs, or it can be two projects. So how they communicate with each other. So the best way is, so we store data in XML files, or nowadays it is all about the JSON files, or you have many other formats as well. So Parquet files, many other files. That means computers can understand these files very, very easily. And this is a very old format, and this is a new format with some securities applied. Because nowadays everyone talks about security. So instead of this, this is a latest version which provides high security than this. So the full form, just for understanding, so it is like JavaScript object notation. So people just call it as JSON or JSON. So this is still fine. So now what is this here? So XML files, it is also some kind of a file like a notepad where we store data and then we send it to other computers so that they could understand it. So now what is semi-structured data? How we can define that? So data which is organized. So these files are also organized, but not in the form of tables. So if we say that it is not in the table, then what is the other alternative? Then these are the alternatives here. So examples, your XML files, comma, JSON files, and so on. So that means the companies are generating a lot of data in these formats and also in these formats as well. Now, the third type here is unstructured data. So it's very simple. So unstructured, so we can put one point directly here. So data which is not at all organized. Okay, so any examples for this? Very good. Now I have a scenario I want to do for a project, like how many vehicles passed, at one crossroad. Now I want to check that. So how we can get that information is, so there are two options. We can keep one person monitoring the vehicles and then count it manually. The second way is just have one camera installed and let's have one recording. So let's have one video which goes on playing. Now, so whenever we have that cameras, now we can get two things, isn't it? We can get pictures and we can get videos. Okay. Now this is also data here. So this is also data. Now, how do we store these? We cannot store images. We cannot store videos in our DBs, in our databases. So now what is unstructured data? So data which is not at all organized. That means we cannot put pictures in rows and columns. We cannot put videos in our rows and columns. Then that kind of data, what we call is unstructured data. Right? So there is again a lot of data getting generated based on the cameras as well. All your artificial intelligence, if you talk about the Tesla cars, so it's all about the pictures, it's all about the videos. So how do the vehicle know that I have to make a turning, I have to go left, I have to go right? So it's all about the cameras installed on those vehicles, and then they read it, then they take a decision there itself, that too very, very quickly. That's all because of these artificial intelligence. So these are the three kinds of data which are generated millions and millions every day. Now, based on the company, what they are into, so either they get this type of data, this type of data, or this type of data. Now, this data is getting stored. So all types of data is getting stored every day, and that too, it is in millions and millions of records. Now, what we can do with that data? So it is not just storing the data. I want to do some interesting analysis. I want to do some analysis here. I want to build some predictive models. Now, I also want to do like what is going to happen in the future based on the past. So can I predict the future? Yes, of course, you can do it. So how do you do it? Now you have the data ready. And next thing what we have or what we need here is we want some kind of tool, or we want one kind of a software where we can load the data, analyze the data, and then give me some important or useful information. Because just storing the data, what we can do, isn't it? So it doesn't make sense. Now we have to get some information from the data so that I want to take some decisions based on the existing data. Now, what are the tools now which can load huge volumes of data and where we can analyze the data, right? So there comes the business intelligence tools. Now, why we say these are like business intelligence? So the tools which I list out here, so they are able to do this and they're able to do this. Along with this, they can also predict. They can also predict the future as well. That's why we call it as intelligence. Based on your business data, I'll apply some intelligence and I'll give you your expected. So let's look at the list of tools what we have in the market. So I'll start with the Tableau. That's where we are talking about. You have a good competitor, which is Power BI, and then the upcoming ones. So people are trying. So this is from Google, and there's that Looker, and then you also have ClickView, then ClickSense. But this did not make much into the market because of the capabilities of these two products. These are very good, and every day we are getting the updates, and we can integrate these tools with the artificial intelligence as well. These are very much behind, but these two are very good in the market. Right? So that's where the word Tableau comes into picture. Right? So what all we discussed till now, so I'll just keep it in one point here. So I'll just make one definition, like what I understood based on the discussion here. So what is Tableau here? So Tableau is a BI tool, right? So I'll say BI. BI means business intelligence tool. So which is capable of loading the data, comma, and what we do here is we build the reports with some predictive analysis, and also we share the reports to end users. Now let's read it again. So what is Tableau here? So Tableau is a business intelligence tool. It is capable of pulling the data, huge volumes of data, then build the reports, and I can also apply some intelligence. I'll tell you what can happen in the future. And interesting part here is, so that report, what you are building, so we have to share it with our customers, with our managements, because they are the ones who need to take the decisions. So that is what this tool is capable of. All right. Now I'll take a quick pause here to see if you got any questions on so far what we discussed. So open for questions for now. So you can shoot anything, whatever you wanted. Silly, simple, that doesn't matter. All right, sound good then? Okay, you can say yes, no, I don't know. Any options are welcome. All right. So if you have no questions, then I'll just move on to the next things here. So now we know what is Tableau here. Then we get one very important question here. So you said here just there is another tool which is Power BI. So who developed these tools? So Tableau company itself developed this tool, and who developed this? Microsoft developed this, right? So which is an old one. So Tableau is the old one which came existence in 2008, and Power BI came into existence in 2014. So this is 2008. So it's a very old tool, and so Microsoft, so it wanted to come into the reporting side, so it came into market in 2014. Right now, so one common question which we hear from everyone is, okay, why should I learn Tableau? Right. So, why you wanted to learn Tableau? That's a very good question. So we should ask for ourselves, so why I need to learn Tableau. So to understand this, we need an answer here is, so we need to understand what are the features of Tableau. So if we know that, then we will come to a conclusion that why should I learn Tableau? So the first thing here, what are the features of Tableau here? So it is very, very easy to learn, and it is just the drag and drop. Everyone loves it, isn't it? So drag and drop, and it's very easy to learn. And second thing here is there is no programming needed, right? So we don't have to do any kind of programming. So one popular thing, so where people hate programming, yeah, this is a best opportunity for you still get into data science, because this tool doesn't need any programming, right? So this is an advantage I will take. So I'll just put that into this point itself, right? So no programming needed. Then second, so this tool is very good in terms of performance, because the end users, they are customers. So what customers love is reports with performance, because if you have a tool where it is not performing well, so why do I look at that tool? So one of the feature is it is very, very good in terms of performance. So how are you going to achieve that performance here? So how are we getting that performance? Because of the unique technology what Tableau uses here, it is called as VisQL. So this is a technology which is used by Tableau. So what is this here? So this is a combination of, so this is Vis plus DL. All right, what is this here? So, okay, let's make it simple. So instead of this, we'll just say SQL, because everyone knows what is SQL is. All right, so what is SQL here? Right, SQL is a query language, but again, in simple. So let's make it little more simple here. So SQL, so why do we need this? So you can assume that this is our database. And so here, this is we. So a lot of data getting stored into my databases. How do I read this data? So how do I get the output of this data here? So using one of the query language, which we call it as SQL. SQL is not the database. Remember, most of them confuse SQL. It's not the database. It's just the structured query language. And what is this here? This is a database. Of course, if you're using SQL, then we call it as SQL Server, right? So two different things. SQL Server is a database, and SQL is a programming language. No, we can't call that. So we'll just say that as query language. We'll make it simple. But you can also add some additional programming, but that is definitely not needed for us. So what is SQL? Just a query language to pull data from the databases. So that is this part. So just get data. Now, what is the next one? What is DL here? So DL stands for descriptive language. So what does DL stands for? So it is descriptive language here. All right. So let's put that here. So which is descriptive language, because you have to know like what is each word standing for. So this is structured query language, and then DL, so it stands for descriptive language. Now, do I need to learn that? No need. Tableau uses these in the backend, and because of this technology, we are going to get very high performance. So that is what we are going to see. I mean, how it gives good performance. So I'll build the report within seconds, just seconds. So maybe 2 seconds, your report is ready. So it is that quick, it is that fast, right? So we'll see it all live, step by step. Now, what is the next feature? What we can see here? All right, let's put that here. So what is the next feature here? So Tableau says it is the self-service BI. Okay, what is self-service? The name itself, it says self means yourself, and you can service yourself. That means what Tableau says here is our tool is that simple. You can use it on your own. Right? See how they say, how they give that, how they make that statement. It's a very simple tool. Everyone can use it. So why they say this point is, so if you go back 8 to 10 years back, if I want to get any report, so who has to develop that report? So do you know, the database persons have to develop or have to build the report, and then they have to give this report to their superiors. But now things have changed. Now any non-IT person, I don't know anything about the databases. Yes, you can do it yourself. You can build the report yourself with just drag and drop and no programming and high in performance, and it uses unique technology. So that means this tool is that simple to learn, right? So that's why Tableau became very, very popular in IT industry. From last 5 to 6 years, this is gaining much popularity and it's increasing year by year. All right, now next one. What is the next feature? What Tableau says? You can definitely share the reports. Okay, because think about this way. So I build some report. What if I keep it in my local machine? It's not very useful. So that report have to be sent to different people. So now if I want to send that report, that means you have to share the report. So there are two terms here: save the report, share the report. So two different terminologies. Again, we will see this live. What is the difference? Now, how do I give the report to other people? So Tableau says, I'll take care of this one as well. So you build it, then you just upload it to one of my server. Then from server, I'll take care. So to which user you want to send, I will take care of that. Let's say for an example, every day at 7 o'clock, I want to get newspaper. Okay, so I'll get my newspaper. Similarly, the customer say, every day I want to see previous day report. Now who has to send it? Now we have to send it because we are the developers. So we have to send it. Tableau server says, or Tableau says, I will take that task for you. You don't have to do it every day. So I'll do it automatically. Once you give me the report, I'll take care of whom to send, when to send, every day, every week, or once in a week. I'll take care of that. Right. So sharing of reports is also very, very easy from Tableau's point of view. Right. So this is one very big point which we have to say. Right. So let's give me a second while I save this file, because this is a very, very useful information. So I'll just put that here. So why this is needed? Yeah, this is very much needed.
Hi, can you share your screen? Actually, it is not visible.
Screen is not visible.
I think it's
Is that struck or?
no, it is visible. It is visible actually. Oh, okay. Okay, thanks. Something problem.
Yeah. So do you want to rejoin real quick?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, sure. So save this. This is the demo. Let's put that. That's all right. So let's give a minute, or let's see. Okay, we'll continue here. All right. So these are some of the features, like why I should learn Tableau here. And we'll add one more point because that might be interesting for some people here. So one last point, what we would say, or what Tableau says is, I can connect to 70 plus data sources. Okay, now remember, we have to get into the technical terms as well, which we'll do step by step. Now, what you call as a data source. So every new term, we need to know what it is, why we use that. Now, data source means if you have data in text, that is called as data source. if you have data in Excel, that is also data source. I have my images in a folder. Yes, that is also a data source. So that means Tableau says whether you have data in text files, CSV files, comma separated values, or Excel files, or XLS, or if you talk about any databases, so I can connect it to Oracle, I can connect it to SQL Server, I can connect it to MongoDB, I can connect it to Teradata. So whatever the data source you have, whatever the database you use, whatever data warehouse you use. So again, I'm using some new terminology here, data warehouse. That means this is also one place where you can store the data. So in the coming sessions, we will see what is the difference between a database and the data warehouse. All right. So companies prefer sometimes this one, sometimes this one. So whatever the data you have, wherever the data it is, Tableau says I can connect. So it's as simple as that. So any company, any input, so any source, I can easily connect and I can easily load it as well. So this is one of the feature which Tableau says, so proudly says, I'll connect to anything, simple terms, right? So these are some of the features. There are many, but I just listed out from the student's point of view, from the company's point of view. So from student points of view, it's easy to learn, no programming needed. And from company's point of view, so it should be a very good performing tool. And so I need to have something like sharing the report, something automated, because we don't like manual nowadays. Everything should be automated. Yes. So this is one of the feature which companies will look at. All right. Now, so these are some of the features of Tableau here. What are the components? What are the components of Tableau? That means, is Tableau a software? Is Tableau a tool? Or is Tableau what? What is that? So what we will say is Tableau is a suite. Okay, what does a suite means? That means it is not just one tool. It has got so many small features which they have their own specific purpose. Now that means, so here, what are the components here? So let's list out. So Tableau Desktop. This is the first component, and most of the developers, see why I call developers here, because we are the ones who create. So developers means who create something, isn't it? Now the second component is so Tableau Server. Then another component, okay, where did that go? Another component what we have is mobile. All right, we have a mobile app as well. Most of them prefer mobiles nowadays. All right, then Tableau Online, or we call it as cloud. Again, one common word nowadays, everywhere you go, they say cloud, cloud, cloud. All right, so Tableau says we have that as well. Then you have got Tableau Reader. Then we got another component, is Tableau Public. And then we have got another component, which is Wrap. Okay, so these are the different components we have. And do I need to learn all of them? Yes, I would say yes, you have to learn most of them. And what I will be working if I get a job, so on which component I will be working. So you will be working as a developer, and the developer means we will be working on this component, which is Tableau Desktop. Okay, what is this here? So this is a client application, or in simple terms, a software which you have to install in your computers. And this is a place, what we do here is we develop reports. This is where we build our reports. This is where we connect, then we develop the reports here. And as I said, this is a installable application. You will get one exe files. There are so many versions available. So which version to install and what we have to do, how many versions we install. Yes, it's more coming in the next sessions, right? So what we do here, we work as a developer and we develop the reports. And I would say here, 95%, sorry, where did that go? Right, let's use this. 95% of people, so who learn Tableau, they will be working on this component itself, right? 95, or I would say greater than 95% of people. They will be working in this Tableau Desktop. Then, so there's another component. So what is Tableau Server here? So after we develop any reports, what we have to do is we have to share the reports, isn't it? So who will take care of that part? So that will be taken care by the Tableau admins. So who is going to do that? So there is a separate role, there's a separate job profile, so which we call it as Tableau admins. So what they do is they are going to take care of all admin activities in Tableau server. But they should also know very clear understanding on what is desktop and what we do here. Then only you will be eligible to get into this role here. So remaining 5% of people, so you will be working on, so if you get opportunity, then you will be working on Tableau server, right? So most of them, they just learn this. No, that is not sufficient. You definitely have to learn what is Tableau server. So we'll do it here. We'll divide our sessions in such a way that we spend 80 to 85% of time on the desktop. Then we will come here and we will discuss very detailed. We'll go much detail and what all you can do in server as administrators. So we'll do it hands-on, right? Then the next component here is Tableau Mobile. So this is a mobile app where you can see the reports. Some end users, the business users, the salesman, or the HR people, or it can be anyone. I want to see the report. All right, we say that's fine. Just install the mobile app for Tableau, then you can see your sales report. So it's as simple as such. So this is just for seeing reports. So there's nothing much to learn, but I'll guide you how to use mobile as well. So this works in conjunction with server. So if you learn this, then only you will get to know like how to use mobile here. So what all things you will know. Then the next component here is Tableau Online or Tableau Cloud. So this is one area here. This is very similar to Tableau Server. So Tableau Server, it's like you have a machine, you have to install server, you have to create web servers, application servers, the databases, and so many things. Tableau says, okay, you can register with us. You can take Tableau Cloud. I will do all installations for you in our premises. Means Tableau will create everything for us, what we need from the server point of view. So they will do all activities for us. So that means this is installable in a computer, and this is installable in Tableau side itself, and it will be maintained by Tableau. So you don't have to do anything. This installation takes 8 hours. This one just takes 2 minutes, and it's very quick. So 2 minutes compared to 8 minutes, it's very, very high, isn't it? And so there are many things here where we can use on-premise and cloud. So in the coming sessions, we will understand more what is on-premise and what is cloud. Which one cost you better, which one cost you less? Where is the performance better? Where is the performance low? So we will discuss them because that's the next steps. But on a higher level, so there's one component which Tableau says, I will take care of your server activities, so you can just come and join in the cloud. So everything is maintained by Tableau itself. Okay, the next component here is Tableau Reader. This is again a small application which is similar to the PDF. So if you look at Word, so if I open Word and I type it, yes. So I want to convert that into PDF. So I want to give it to someone who should not edit anything, who should not make changes. So I convert to PDF. Right? So very similar to that. So I build some reports and I want nobody should make any changes. All right, then I'll send them in this format. So I'll ask them, okay, just install this. I'll give you the report. So once they open this, that will be just read only, right? That will be just read only purpose. So this is one component here, right? I'll show you all of these. Tableau Public, the next component. So this is a free website which is given by Tableau. So this is a free website. So, okay, why did they give free? What do they gain? So let's say I have developed some very beautiful report and I want to share with complete internet. I want to share to everyone who is available in the internet. All right, then Tableau says, if you think your report is very useful to everyone, then just upload your report to my free website. Then it will be visible for everyone in the internet, right? So free website given by Tableau so that it is open to public. So everyone can see that. But remember, we should never upload our company reports into the public website. because that should be confidential. So it's only general reports where it is useful to anyone, then make it public. Otherwise, we should never go for this website. But you can make use of this Tableau public website in many, many ways. So I'll tell you in detail what all you can do with this Tableau public website, right? Then another component, which is Tableau Prep. So this is a new one, of course. When I say new, this came into market in 2018, and this is used as the data cleaning tool or data preparation tool. Because as you receive the data, you cannot build any reports. Now, first you have to analyze them. First you have to clean the data. Then you have to do some modifications. You have to do some transformations. You have to break the data. You have to get only the wanted required data. So all that activities, you can do it in Tableau Prep, which is released by Tableau here. But this is not very successful in the market because company has different tools. Because in the market, we have got like different tools for all these activities, which we call it as ETL tools. So these are the tools which are used to clean the data, which is used to build the data, and which is used to model the data. You can do many things with these. That means in the market, there are already existing tools. Tableau gave a try, but I would say this is not very, very successful. But there are many ETL tools. Okay, what does ETL stands for? So ETL stands for extracting the data, transforming the data, then load the data. And so that's the full form of this. And what are some existing tools again? Everything is software. So this is a very, very old tool. Then Alteryx is one new tool, which is very, very popular tool. Then this again, one tool here, and you can also use SSIS. There are many tools available in the market. So because of these, so this could not gain much popularity here because you can do much more than this particular tool in these tools. All right, now let's step back one step and let's take a look at the different components what we have. So this is where we will be working most of the time. So I'll be spending 85% of the time on this particular software. So we will go it in 3 levels: basic level, intermediate level, advanced level. Then we will spend our time on Tableau Server because this is one area where you have to know things very well. So we'll spend the rest of the time on Tableau Server. And of course, I'll be taking you through these components as well, but I don't need much time. Maybe one day is enough for Tableau Mobile, Tableau Cloud, Tableau Reader, Tableau Public. Right? Maybe one day or maybe 2 days, it's enough to understand about what all you can do with these applications. But we have to know definitely before we apply for any jobs. Right? So a quick recap. So yeah, this is the raw data as you see, and we build some interesting insights by taking this raw data, then show these reports. Then what we will learn from this course, yeah, this is all what we do. Analyze the data, bring them, build the reports, build these dashboards, and then we share the reports. And also we'll talk about the server, and we have to do it hands-on. Otherwise, just understanding doesn't make sense, isn't it? So we'll do complete things, simple, complex reports, and we'll share the reports as well. So this is all what we learn. And who can learn? So as I said, anyone, beginners or the experienced people or the freshers or developers, data warehouse, QA persons. So mainly we'll get from software testing. Yes, you can definitely learn. So I would say anyone who is interested in the future is all about artificial intelligence, then this is the right step towards it. Okay, then, so these are the list who all can learn. And then, so as I said, what are the prerequisites? Absolutely nothing. But if you already know something on Excel, which everyone knows, or anywhere, if you work on any databases, or if you heard something on databases, then definitely it is an advantage. But it's not compulsory. That's what I said. And I stick to these words so till the end of the sessions. Right? So on a quick note, so how are the openings available for us? So I pulled some stats from 2 different good websites. you see like almost 20,000 jobs in February for Tableau, and this is from Naukri, and 4,500 odd jobs in from Indeed. So you have like good number of openings coming up. And one good thing is, yeah, the openings have started and people are getting calls. And so sometimes you might get 5 to 6 calls in a day for interviews. So I'm seeing that flow has started. And yes, here, so this is all what we cover and what we do. So how much we charge for that. And so what all I discussed, it is definitely available on this screen. And the course fees for that is here. So it was 20, but now there's an offer going on. So it is like 15. And if you enroll it for today, so if you do it now, so you will get some additional discounts on this 15,000 as. And yes, there are good number of openings and a good tool. Anyone can learn, so which is very easy. And 1 or 2 persons from my previous batches, so they have managed to crack interviews in 6 different companies. The packages what he got is 18 lakhs to 22 lakhs packages in different companies. And how much experience he has got. So like he kept like 3.5 years of experience, and he's actually working on different technologies. So he learned the course and managed to get good offers from multiple companies. So which is good, isn't it? Not just one company, and he cracked on his own. So no external help, everything he did that. I just helped him build the resume and some interview tips and tricks. So that made him crack the interviews.